that said, no, you can't do that. NEC basically makes decisions and nobody can question it. That's what they're saying. So these are some of the laws that the government has been amending to protect itself from, I think, the public, all of us. That's what they're doing. And so that's what we're doing. We're just going back to court to say, no, it's unconstitutional, throw it out, rouse it.
So coming back to my question.
Oh, there's a lot. Well, look, I personally think that, members of parliament shouldn't become entrenched. You may go inside and look at him, I'm garden blaming, but I'm missing out all the time. And so I plan to serve as a governor for 10 years. And there were a few things that I wanted to achieve, and I've achieved most of them already. There are only two things left. One is the airport extension, which, we're working on it now. And the other one is the solar power supplier. These are things that came on. And so hopefully by last quarter of this year, we're going to get a solar power station in with the help of the European Union. So, and the Australian government. So after that, there's not much for me to do. And I'm quite happy to go. I want to retire. I can't keep fighting with people that don't understand and people with evil intentions and all they want to do is protect themselves. But then I guess when you're doing the right thing, all Mandiri looks away. So there's been a call even across the country, which surprised me, to be honest. And that's why you see in the parliament sitting on Tuesday, I just kept quiet. I didn't want to make any noise. And credit to Kramer, Sepuka Temu, Kerenga Kua, amazing young James Numane, young Keith Iduhu, even Governor Central, amazing people with their amazing intellect and insight. And, the debates that came forward was just very rich. I was impressed with the team, Dr. Lino. Mm. So, so I sat there and I decided not to become involved because I thought, online to all fitman, karim heavy, all stuff. So, Larim all walking work now. So I just kind of didn't want to participate too much because they were doing a great job. They didn't need me to weigh in. But somehow, me looking at some people from Papua New Guinea only, and I got so many messages from so many people. And
even on your own Facebook page?
On my own Facebook page too, which surprised me because, I didn't expect it. But I think, maybe I'm doing a few things that Papua New Guineans find refreshing. Papua New Guineans are sick and tired of the way we run the country. And there's not a lot of transparency, and we're trying to reduce transparency. And I think when they see that someone is, you see, all my training, I'm trained by BHP, basically. I'm trained to run a mine. That's my training. I'm trained to be a mining executive. So in my training, we are taught that transparency and accountability is everything. People need to understand what the business is all about in order to make it work. So that's the training I've received. So when I'm in government, like in ECP, I've done the same thing. I've brought transparency to the process of government. So people are participating more. You hear people like Dr. John Misad, the father of our constitution. He talks about people participating in democracy. Well, in private sector, that's the way you operate a business. Everybody in the business needs to understand how the business is. And so that's how I've been trained. Mm. So when I came into ECPIC as the governor, I tried to bring transparency to the operations of local level governments. We don't have transparency in DDAs. And, that's something that I'm hoping will change in the future. But we're beginning to get transparency in local level government, provincial government, just opening it up so people can come in and participate because that is your check and balance. Having people be able to look in, can hide him. And so, participatory democracy. That's what our democracy is about. And, Dr. Momis talks about that a lot. The man is still alive, very, very smart man. And I spend a lot of time talking to him, listening to him, learning from him. And I find that his views and my views are very similar. I didn't learn from Dr. Momis. And Dr. Momis, he was around in the 1970s. Wow. And I learned from BHP, which is a mining company. And I learned the same principles from them. And it's very similar to what, Dr. Momis talks about. So, and I think that's what I bring to the floor of parliament. And I think Papua New Guineans haven't really seen that kind of, but if you've operated at a board level, if you've run a major company, you've sat on a major board, and I've sat on some pretty major boards of private companies in my time. You understand the importance of having this transparent operating culture. And most of Papua New Guinea's political culture is a closed operating system because time will hide him something that look him. It's very easy for them to move money around, play around with contracts, and they do all these things to help their friends. And, they don't really tell you what they're doing. So a lot of things are kept quite secret. Even members of parliament don't know. So the public doesn't know. And anyway, so time you look at Muslim, you read some of the comments, you read the comments that people put out, and a lot of them are quite heartfelt, People say to me, like, and I bump into people on the street, and they come up as, Liangpla Papa or Mama, they come and shake my hand, they got tears in their eyes, and they say, thank you for what you're doing. It's giving me hope. It's giving me hope for my children. When people say things like that to you, me to be a human being, it affects me. And then I sit down and then, and then people are telling me, don't leave. We want you to stay. And so, all those things as a mia glosarlo tinding tuna. And so I've got to kind of consider that and put my life on hold. And I've got to talk to some of my friends, the people that support me, and the people that are close to me. And I've got to find out, because I understand what it means to run the country. I've run a province. It's not an easy thing. So I know that I'm not kidding myself to say it's an easy job. I'm not kidding myself to say that. But having said that too, like I know I can lead a party to the elections and we'll probably win 5 seats. So that frees me. It's no longer my responsibility, you know what I mean? But then, we could win 25 seats. And they're already like my good friends, Kerenga Kua, Keith Iduhu, our friends in parliament, or members of parliament that share the same views, Dr. Lino, even Sepida Ipatas, all these people. And even some in government, they're telling me that, look, we'd be happy to support you if the time comes. And so I have to think about that because, when I was the nominee, it gave me a hard time because I'd be up for 20 hours a day thinking, all right, these are the things that need to be fixed. We need to fix this, starting from law and order, foreign currency, foreign direct, we need investments, we need this, we need this, we need this, how do we fix it? So I did a whole list on my phone, which is still there. So, that's what's going to happen when you're running the country. And look, given my background as a mining executive, like, you don't do everything yourself. Like now in ECB, and the other day, Prime Minister was criticizing ECB province, and I said, look, hold on a minute. Like my public servants in ECB, I call them my public servants. I fought them when I became governor. I was very hard on them, to the point where Trango will change, they're changing. And they're beginning to deliver results. And so I've softened my approach a little bit towards the public servants. And I realized that, look, they're good people. When I was outside, I fought them. When I became governor, I fought them. But Trango will start to change now. Our local level government, some of them are beginning to function now from not functioning at all before.
Wow.
So, people are capable of doing good things. You just got to create the space for them to operate. So, like, I don't go and dictate to the provincial administrator, oh, pay this guy or do this or do that. He knows his job. He's a professional. He's been trained. He's been in the public service longer than me. So, when the Prime Minister started criticizing ECB, I said, hold on a minute. I've got good people in ECB who are working hard, like the public service, even in the police force, everywhere. There's good people there, good Papua New Guineans. You just need good leadership at the top for those people to do their job. Like, one of the things, like, one at a time, because I've got a public service that's working now. So, and I used to meet with them like once every 2 weeks, and I'd be like, what's happening here? What's happening there? What's? You go on one at a time. Administrator, I'm doing governor, respectfully, I'm talking. Maybe all public servants, we're working. All the things you want us to do, we're doing it. He said, can you get out of the way and let us do our job? And I think I'm the only member of parliament where the public servants actually tell me, Governor, can you get out of the way and let us do our work? And, I stopped for a while and I thought, wow, these people are telling me to get out of the way. And I was happy to do that. And I think that's the way I operate. I need good people to do my work. I can't do my work myself.
You can't micromanage.
No, I don't micromanage. I was trained not to micromanage. So, and this is where I'm thinking to myself, all right, it's a hard job if you're going to be prime minister. I mean, I never thought that far ahead. I thought about, I've worked out how to be a governor. I've worked that out. And so, you're just taking that to a higher level. But then I told myself, look, in the departments, you've got highly qualified people there, many of them with master's degrees, multiple master's degrees, some of them. They've got good training. They may have to be upskilled a little bit. A lot of the secretaries are very competent, You just need good ministers because a lot of the ministers are not qualified. You've got a highly qualified secretary and a minister that basically thinks he knows what he's doing but doesn't.
Yep.
So you just got to fix that, and then suddenly you'll find all these brilliant Papua New Guineans in public servants positions are going to perform. So I thought, all right. So I'm thinking about it and thinking, all right, yeah, you might, look, the likelihood of failing to become prime minister is very high. You can't dream and say, look, I'm going to be prime minister. That's impossible. You've got to win 30 seats or something, and then you need coalition partners who are going to support you, So the chances of becoming prime minister are very slim after 2027, very slim. And so I'm thinking to myself, yeah, okay, the chances of failure are high. And I just need to find out the people that are going to back me up. Like, for instance, and, I thank the Papua New Guineans for saying, all about contributing money in Dislana. That broke my heart. Like over the election, I miss a broken business, I miss a road. I miss a Philip Samlock, money, money Marina. Because you don't want to let people down. You get their money and they're expecting you to do something great and then suddenly you falter. So letting people down is something that I struggle with, letting the public down. But I'm thinking, if everyone is game and it's something that I want to think about for maybe the next 2 months. And I want to talk to people in the private sector. The people in the private sector, they need a good government. They know it. We all know it. So
they drive the economy.
So I want to talk to some of the business people out there and say, look, if I do this, if I stick my neck out, I'm happy to stick my neck out. I always stick my neck out, but I do it as an individual. And and I have a great team. People like Krenga Kua, James Donald, all these guys, Kramer. Even to some extent now, Peter O'Neill. Peter O'Neill, he's been sitting back a bit and sort of letting us do our thing. And just seeing them there, and you're thinking, all right, maybe we should think about this. And it's not for me. It's for the people. I mean, I'll be honest. I've got a job offer to leave Parliament, and go and run a major company, which is something, I'm very good at doing. And I'd love to do that, do something easier. I don't want to... In Parliament, sometimes it's a sin to be intelligent, And I sometimes feel a bit bad that, when I'm out there debating and I make other members of Parliament look bad, Mr. Pilim, no good Kenya. But in private sector, they're all really smart people, so you're sort of in your element there. You're working with people that are at your level. So I kind of wanted that a little bit, you know what I mean? But look, it's something that it's a big decision. I got to go back and talk to everyone, and especially So I want to go back and talk to a bunch of them and get a feeling and lay the cards out. I'm not a guy that runs into things blindly. I want to look at the entire landscape and figure out if it can be done or not, and what can we do, what can't we do, figure out how much it's going to cost, and then we work on that basis. So, sorry, I'm long explanation, but it's not an easy decision to make from my perspective, and I wanted to give people an appreciation about why I want to take some time and do this thing properly and then come back with a response.
But when might that be if I'm not pressing too much?
Maybe in a couple of months. I'm going home over the weekend, and we got stuff to do at home. Maybe to travel around, they're all national government roads. We don't have the money. We haven't received any money from national government since May last year. So,
since May last year?
Since May last year. So
approaching 12 months?
Yes, 9 months now. No.